Well, I don't know quite what to say. So I'll say, welcome to the Tuesday, December 1st, 2009 meeting of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency. Mr. City Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Agency members: Friedman. Here. Najarian. Here. Quintero. Here. Weaver. Here. Chairman Draymond.
Here. And could we have your report, please, Mr. Kasakian?
The agenda for the December 1st, 2009 regular meeting of the Glendale Redevelopment Agency was posted on Wednesday, November 25th, 2009 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Thank you very much. Our first item?
Approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All were present, according to my minutes anyway. The 24th of November, we have Council Member Friedman was absent. Agency Member Friedman was absent. So if you would...
Noting that abstention.
So with that abstention, the minutes will stand approved as... Thank you very much. Our next item?
Next item is oral communication. There was, I believe, one card submitted. Discussion is limited to items not part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Members of the redevelopment agency may question or respond to a speaker, but there will be no debate or decision, and the matter may be referred to staff through the executive director for an investigation or report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kasaki. And our speaker is Vache Hanessian. Mr. Hanessian? I think...
Mr. Chairman, that may be for the joint item.
That's what I'm thinking.
Filled out the wrong card.
I'm going to pass this to my colleague, the mayor of the city.
You're out of it.
Okay. All right, let's move on to the next item then. I have no other cards, so we will close oral communications.
At 6 is on the business agenda. At 6A is Director of Development Services regarding Alex Theater quarterly report from Glendale Arts for the period of July 1st to September 30th, 2009. At 6A1 is a motion to note and file report.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go to Phil Lansdowne, Director of Development.
Mr. Chairman, Erica Garabian has a brief report for you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, agency chair and members of the agency. My name is Erica Garabian, and I am here to report on the first quarter operations for Glendale Arts. Overall, Glendale Arts has had a good quarter this year, and here are some of the highlights. They've had increased reserve account funds, increase in overall box office receipts and rental deposits over the previous year. They finished the quarter with a net surplus. Glendale Arts has organized and managed its expenses tremendously, such that the surplus for this quarter has increased in comparison to last year. Although the current economic environment continues to impact Alex Theater operations, Glendale Arts is committed to implementing various marketing strategies in an effort to increase event activities in upcoming months, and will continue to do so in an effort to support this effort. This includes my brief report, and Mr. Barry McComb, Chief Executive Officer, is here along with Aram Alajajian, who's the Vice Chair, and they can address specific questions if you have any.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate your report. Mr. McComb. What can you tell us?
Well, she summed it up pretty good. I'm Barry McComb, the Chief Executive of Glendale Arts. We did have a good first quarter. Event activities remain, even with the previous time period, or the same time period of the previous year. We did see a reduction in attendance, which I will tell you is a trend that we're seeing going forward. However, just in the last month, we've experienced 4 sold-out performances, so we hope that that is a sign that the trend is starting to shift back the other direction. We are continuing to control our expenses. As she mentioned, we're exploring different marketing opportunities to bring new promoters and events to the building. Some are starting to show some fruit from the efforts, but I can't say that it's not still a challenging environment, that at times it seems to be getting more challenging each day. But we're keeping our head above water, and I think still making progress.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me go to my colleagues. Don't go far, Barry, because I assume there are going to be questions for you. Councilmember, Agency Member Friedman.
Hi, I have a question. Is the fluctuating attendance, sometimes being down and then having sold-out performances, related to the programming, the economy, timing, or anything that you can that you could quantify?
At some level, it's obviously related to the programming. Probably more so, it's related to the level of marketing efforts. While there are some events that we as the building are in control of how those shows are marketed, when someone comes in and rents the facility, we can offer advice, but we don't really have control over how much money they invest or what sources they use. The one thing that does set the Alex Theater apart from other venues in Los Angeles is that we do have a base of marketing support for anyone that comes in, such as our e-newsletters, exposure through the websites, press releases that we do. But as far as paid media buys and things like that, that's kind of up to each promoter. Some do a little better job of it than others, and I think that's reflective many times in the attendance.
So just out of curiosity, is there any common denominator between the performances that have been sold out and the ones that have been under-attended?
Actually, if you look at the sold-out performances in the last month, one was a public forum with KRLA Radio, their annual town hall. One was the John Cleese concert, obviously a comedian. We had an Armenian performer that sold out. And this last weekend, the Three Stooges Film Festival. So it pretty much covers all.
So is there a corollary between the Three Stooges sellout and the KRLA town hall sellout?
I'll leave that up to you to draw your own conclusions.
Thank you.
Mr. Najarian.
Barry, how do you explain what's hard for me to understand, the decreased attendance of 35%, yet an increase in revenues? So how does that... We're not taking part of the box in those events, we're just renting, and whether the promoter wins or loses is on his dime, not ours.
The way that our rate structure is set up is it is flat rates. There are some venues which will take a percentage of box office, which is traditionally how it's done. When I first arrived 9 years ago, we explored going to a more traditional model, and what we heard from all of our promoters was they preferred the flat fees because they knew what their costs would be coming in. In cases where they sell out, they probably do better with a flat fee than paying us a percentage, but in cases where they're not doing full capacities, we probably come out a little bit better. I think other trend that we're seeing is there are fewer tickets being sold through consignment channels, which is where a promoter checks tickets out from us and then sells them through other sources in the community. And as a result, we're selling more tickets by phone and over the internet, which is resulting in a higher level of box office service fees for us, which is like a new revenue channel.
How are our concessions going?
Well, concessions are kind of operating where they always have. As part of our redesign of the forecourt, we're readdressing the entire concessions operation, and as we go into the spring, we'll be going out with an RFP to seek a new concession vendor. We're looking to go to service carts rather than built concession stands, which will allow us to serve off both sides. We're also going to start to explore allowing concessions inside the theater for some performances, where now our policy is we don't allow them, with the exception of water inside, for anything. We certainly wouldn't do that with symphony concerts, but for a lot of our contemporary music concerts and the like, I think it would make sense to allow concessions in.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments?
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McCollum. Mr. Lansford.
Mr. Chairman, just before we leave this item, on January 15th, there is anticipated to be another sellout show, the Peking Acrobats. It's a very popular show, Cirque du Soleil type of event at the Alex Theater. It's sold out many years in the past, so you can get those for a holiday gift.
You can get tickets to it. Yeah, not the Peking Acrobats.
Oh, at your house. No.
However,
you
would
can
you
get
wrap
tickets
them?
for a Christmas or holiday gift.
Okay, very good. We need a motion to note and file.
So moved.
All right.
I'll second.
Very good. And we don't need a vote on that, do we?
There's no objection.
No objections.
Ordered. Well,
And we. All right, our next item.
Next, any agency member staff comments?
Do we have any staff or agency member comments? Everyone is shaking their head except for Mr. Lansford. Sure.
Mr. Chairman, if you would like to get into the holiday spirit, this week is your opportunity. This weekend, I should say. On Friday at 6 o'clock, Kenneth Village will be having their annual holiday festival. On Saturday from 12 to 5, Adams Square with a program around 4:30. Then at 6 o'clock, you can race to Montrose and catch the Montrose Christmas Parade. And if you still have some holiday spirit to gain, Sunday at 7 o'clock, Mary Tuba Christmas in the downtown, this year at the Americana at Brand.
Very good. Very good. And I know that my colleagues will be at every one of those events.
No,
Well, I didn't say every one of my colleagues will be at every one of those events, but
because I'm going to miss the SC game to decorate the Rose Bowl. That's how dedicated I am. See, Mr. Grayman?
all right, well,
I'll videotape it, and if they win, I'll watch it.
all right, there you go. In any case, we would like to encourage the public to please participate in those many events throughout the city. If there are no other comments,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
we're adjourned. Thank you.
Okay, we'll call to order the joint meeting of the Glendale City Council and